Has it been on sale in the last 20 years?
If it is, it's like right on my face.
Is it from General Motors?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no.
Oh. Give it away. Is it a Mercury Marauder?
What the? What? How?
Is it a Mercury Marauder?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that give it away?
Because Mercury is the only one you would confuse being with GM Group instead of Ford. And I'm like, what's the most notable thing in the late 90s from Mercury? Marauder.
What? Welcome, everyone, to the Bose Bros podcast. I am Mason.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Logan.
I'm Kira.
And today we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to jump right into our speed rounds. So you have
20 questions.
20 questions for you to answer.
For me. Okay, great.
Okay.
Can we address real quick that we've got 10 times as many people potentially viewing this one than last time? So welcome everyone that's new.
That's true.
50 people now. That's crazy. That's insane.
And Logan's joining us in person this time.
Live IRL.
Yeah.
This week only.
Yep. We get to hear him, see him, smell him in person.
Our Gen Z correspondent.
Yeah. All right.
I'm back from the Columbia. Never mind.
Not a political podcast.
We need on the back of our shirts.
Yeah.
Not a political podcast.
That's great. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
We have to say that at least 3 times every episode.
Free episode.
All right, 20 questions.
20 questions. All right, Jordan. Car number 1. So you're asking me. So you can turn and
Okay. Just don't look behind you.
just don't look behind you.
Yes or no questions.
Yes or no questions. Okay.
I'm going to be way harder on you than Mason. Mason goes too easy on you.
Okay. Is it made by an American manufacturer?
No.
European?
Yes.
Is it German?
No.
Is it English?
No.
Is it Italian?
Yes.
Okay. Is it... Jeez. Okay. Is it a supercar brand?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, okay, I'll give you this one. They have one car that you could consider a supercar or a very fast sports car, but they're not known as a supercar brand.
Also, are you asking the specific brand?
Is it Ferrari?
No.
Is it Pagani?
No.
Is it Lamborghini?
No. I told you they have one car. Now, let me clarify. They have one car that could be considered a supercar or like a fast sports car.
So probably not a supercar brand.
I'm already at 9. Cooking them.
Jeez, is this a car I will have heard of?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Only have one car.
No, they don't only have one car. They only have one car that would be considered like a sports car or supercar. They have multiple cars.
Oh, Alfa Romeo.
No.
Another really big Italian car company.
Maserati.
No.
Too late.
Sorry, I'm not telling you anything else. This is Logan's thing.
This is so good. You're going to give him to 20 for once.
Oh my gosh. This is so frustrating. I've said Pagani. I've said Lamborghini. I've said Ferrari. I've said Alfa Romeo. I've said...
Try asking about the car itself. Forget about the brand. Ask about the car.
Okay. Does it have 2 doors?
Yeah.
I swear to you, if you say this is a Bugatti, I'm going to lose it because...
Bugatti a French company.
It's a French company, yeah.
Why don't you ask me about engine? What type of car is it?
Okay, does it have a V8?
No.
Does it have a V10?
No.
Wrong direction.
You're at 15, dog.
Is it Lancia?
No.
Is that 16?
That's 16.
Jeez. Okay. Is it a 4-cylinder?
Yeah.
This is killing me.
You're going to kick yourself when you
Dude,
figure it out.
This is going to be rough, dog.
Why am I having such a hard time? Normally I get these like right away.
I know, because he puts you on easy mode, dog.
Ask more about the
This is veteran level.
Whatever.
I'm trying to think of another Italian car
Just
company.
ask about the car.
Okay.
You established it's Italian. It's got 4 cylinders and 2 doors.
Oh. Is it Fiat 500 Abarth?
Stop going easy on him!
I just repeated
Stop going easy on him. That's what
Is
you
it a
did.
Fiat 500 Abarth?
It's not an Abarth, but it's just
okay.
a 500 seat.
I figured you would go for the
Oh my god.
go for the Abarth over the hybrid.
I just...
Did you expect me to get hybrid cabriolet on your hard mode?
No. But I wasn't going to repeat everything back to you either. This guy.
Oh, he's not going to choose the 124. He's going to choose something more interesting
the
like
one
the
you were
5.
And that's what I was kind of thinking of. Like, they have a history. They've made some pretty sporty cars that could have been supercars in their day, but like...
I mean, the 124 is based on Miata, so that's basically a supercar.
Basically, super good.
All right.
I didn't give him anything extra.
Ridiculous. All right, stop. Don't...
I won't say a word. I won't say a word.
Is this another 20 questions?
That's 20 questions. 3, dog.
He has 3 free.
All right. I'll try and go faster on this one, guys. I'm sorry.
All right. Go. Next.
Okay.
Car number 2.
Is it Italian?
No.
Is it German?
No.
Is it Japanese?
No.
Is it American?
No.
Jeez.
It's going to take a while before you get to this one.
How many countries make cars? More than 20.
This better not be like some Indian tuk-tuk or whatever.
And basically.
Close enough.
Is it Korean?
No.
Yes.
Is it European?
Yes.
Okay. Did I ask English on this one?
Nope.
Is it English?
9.
Okay. Is it German?
No.
Gosh, dang it.
Man, you baited him with that one.
Is it Spanish?
No.
How many am I at? 10 already?
Go a
9.
different direction with this.
know,
Stop
dude.
asking about the country, Jordan.
No, if you keep asking about the country, it's going to take you a long time.
All right. Is it 2 doors?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it V8?
No.
Is it a 4-cylinder?
No.
Is it
Don't look at me. I can't say anything.
Yeah, he's vanished.
He's in timeout.
is it a Koenigsegg?
No.
Is it Swedish?
No.
Gosh dang it.
Usually you're like knocking us out of the park, Jordan. Come on.
I know, because it's playing against this guy. It's like Weenie Hut Jr. over here. Welcome to the Salty Spittoon.
How tough are you?
You have 14 questions.
I'm sure you wouldn't have picked like the some car. I would.
I know what this car is, but I actually don't know what country it's from.
Oh jeez. Is it an electric car?
Yes.
Is it a VinFast?
No.
That's 16.
Is it available in the American market?
Yes. 17.
I know that you know where Polestar is made. So it's not Polestar. It's not VinFast. It's a European company. Fisker's from California, so it can't be Fisker. Then what else is selling electric cars in the United States?
Go
I
that
know, that's why I
direction.
chose this one.
It's electric and available in the U.S.
Yeah, you got 3 more questions, dog.
You're basically taking out all of NATO.
Crushed him, dog. Crushed him. He's like, is it Brazilian? Is it from American Samoa?
Is it from Vanuatu?
It's from Trinidad and Tobago. No. Oh, man.
He doesn't want to lose so much.
I
Let's
really
go.
don't want to lose.
Come
It's
on,
killing me.
ask a
Chop,
question.
chop.
So it's 2-door. It's electric.
Yeah, and it's not from anybody that America likes.
Gosh dang. Am I going to kick myself?
You might.
At least there's that. At least it's not going to...
Told you in the beginning, stop trying to go off countries.
Would I have probably seen one on the road?
No. 18.
Okay. How blown away would you be if right now I just said like the exact car?
Not blown away, 19.
I wasn't even asking you.
Reminds me of Dungeons and Dragons. Have you seen that? Was that a question? Yes.
That movie was so much better than I expected. It was really funny.
2 more questions.
I can't think of the car company name because I can just cross them all off in my head about all the countries that I've asked.
You might as well just leave now, dude.
It's not Japan, not Korea, not...
Didn't you ask if it's European? You did.
He did.
Yeah, it's European. Told you.
Oh, Mr. Easy Mode over here repeating my answers back to me.
I've got a conscience, I can only watch something.
Trying to sympathize with our viewers.
No, I'm actually like visually crossing off a map of Europe in my head.
Don't do that. That's a waste of time, I promise. All right,
right.
ask your last 2 questions.
Does it have a notable 0 to 60 time?
Yes.
It's a Rimac Navara. And it's Hungarian.
No,
No.
it's from Croatia.
Is it Croatia? I thought it was Hungary.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. But hey,
Does it really matter? I got a Rimac Navara on question 20. That was
Okay, Rimac Navara, and it was
Right, I
on
know,
question
I know.
21.
I was,
No, actually, it's a Rimac. But if you want to get all like actually,
Is that how you pronounce it in Hungarian?
yes, in Hungary.
All right, next car.
Wow.
Ha ha ha! I can't. I got it. When I said it, dude, I don't know why I thought of like the 0 to 60 time being notable.
What is it, by the way? Is it
Like sub
It's just sub 2 seconds.
It's sub 1.8.
That's a very exclusive club of cars.
It's sub 1.8 with like zero headwind of any kind.
Yeah, and I
Like,
think it
perfect
counts for like a
conditions.
rollout too.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, brother.
I'm laughing. I swear it's a Subaru Brat. No.
Question 1, no.
I know it's not. You would have because it would be too easy. All right. Is it European?
No.
Is it from the big 3 automakers?
How would you answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He means the umbrella of Ford, the umbrella of Chrysler, or the umbrella of GM.
Is it a V8?
Yes.
Okay. Is it from Cadillac?
No.
Is it from... Ooh, was it built in... Has it been on sale in the last 20 years?
If it is, it's like right on the cusp.
Barely.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely more of a 90s vehicle.
Is it from Pontiac?
No.
I should have asked if it's from GM. That would help me better. Okay. Is it from General Motors?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no.
Oh. Give it away. Is it a Mercury Marauder?
What the? What? How?
Is it a Mercury Marauder?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that give it away?
Because Mercury is the only one you would confuse being with GM Group instead of Ford. And I'm like, what's the most notable thing in the late 90s from Mercury? Marauder.
What?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, that was impressive.
Yeah.
How many was that?
Like 8. The secret answer is that Jordan was in here like 30 minutes ago.
No, I was not. I swear to you.
Gotta look smart on camera.
He's gonna look really dumb first, then really smart.
I got the
How many
room
was that?
I think it was 8.
Oh, hey.
No, 9, I think.
when he was like, "No, it's not." That was when I was. That's when
Yeah,
I got it.
my bad. I don't know what I was thinking.
Okay, next.
But you should. So you should just let him tell me it was.
No, I was. Yeah. No, I got it wrong. I was always saying
you
it was
said-
Jason like shook his head.
Mason was
You asked for GM, he said yes, and I looked at him and I was like,
on. Sorry.
Yeah, but at that point,
And that Jonah Hill gif.
yeah.
all right, so I'm going to quiz you, which means you cannot look in this direction.
Okay.
I'm super proud of myself on that.
That was really good. Okay, 20 questions.
Okay, don't go to the next slide though, Jordan. Make sure I can't see it.
Just look behind you, Joe, if you want to see what it is.
Cool.
Okay. Go.
Is it Japanese? Is it American?
Yes.
Is it from one of the big 3 automakers?
Yes.
Is it from Chrysler company?
No.
Is it from a Ford company?
No.
Is it from a GM company?
Yes.
That's kind of a wasted question.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So that's another question, by the way.
yeah. Okay. Is it from? Is it a like sedan vehicle?
No.
No. Is it a truck?
Yes.
Is it a GMC?
No.
Is it a Chevy?
Yes.
Is it a car I would have heard of?
Yep.
Is it a Chevy truck?
Yes. Okay. Is that a question?
No. I want Weenie Hut Jr. for me.
It's like, I'm a weenie.
I'm a bubble blowing double weenie, brother. All right, it's really hard to not see. Okay, so GM truck, or sorry, Chevy truck. Is it a V8?
Yeah.
Is it notably fast?
Not really.
I mean, for the time, I'd say, yeah.
It would be what you'd expect out of that car with a V8.
Sure.
I'd say quicker than the average car, for
Is
sure.
it older than 1990?
No.
Is it newer than 2005?
Would have been about that time.
Yeah, about the time.
Chevy truck around 2005, V8, not notably fast.
I wouldn't say not notably fast.
It is notably fast.
I'd say it's faster than the average car.
No one was like,
Did you hear about this thing? It's so fast, but it was probably faster than the average car. You're at that was 15. Yeah.
This game.
Did you hear about this?
I
It's
feel
so
like you're
fast.
right there.
Yeah, I feel like he's about to say it.
2005.
He's a heck of a lot closer now than I was to the Marauder.
Chevy truck, 2005.
This is going to be a much shorter leap than your Marauder guess.
I'm just trying to think because Ford had the Lightning, GMC had like the Typhoon or whatever, and they
That
had
was in the 90s.
they had that truck. I'm trying to think of what Chevy had.
I think you guys must let
That was like kind of similar to that.
This guy doesn't take notes.
It's Chevy Silverado.
Nope.
No.
That's 16.
Oh, is it a SSR?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Okay.
Way to go.
Oh, such a cool car. Dude. It's so cool.
Almost gave it away when you asked if it was a truck. Because if I flinched at all, you'd know instantly.
You almost flinched, and his eyes narrowed, looking at you like.
Permanent tonneau cover, make it count as a truck.
No, it doesn't. I would.
I
would
was thinking, I was like,
I would have thrown him off and said this is a 2-door coupe.
Nah.
It's closer to a truck than not.
All right, let's. You got another one for me, or is that? That's it?
All right, keep looking this way.
Oh, I see. I was thinking this one.
20 questions starts now.
Is it Japanese?
Wow, yes, it is.
Okay. Quick cut. If it's yellow, I saw this earlier.
Okay.
So let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
What did you see?
is it?
Alexis LFA.
Yeah. 2 questions. What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I saw it earlier. Sorry, that's the slide I thought I saw.
I actually like that color on it.
That way, Japanese has been the first question.
That's
every
why it
time.
was the first question on the last one, so I could get this out of the way. But I don't lie about having seen the slides like some people.
Oh, really? Now what we've got is cousin cars.
Nope.
Oh, we don't have cousin cars.
You haven't seen his slides?
No.
I can tell you, you and I picked the same car. Not only we picked the same picture of the same car for different segments.
That's really funny.
Okay.
Okay, so this car has a cousin car. Bam. One question. Freebie. All right. Is this the ugly cousin or the handsome cousin? First question.
No, you can ask, is this the ugly cousin?
Yeah, is this the ugly cousin?
No.
Is this the more popular?
No,
That's what I'm asking is this the more popular cousin?
I think it's a more obscure cousin.
It's the more obscure cousin, definitely the better
Okay, is it a
cousin.
GM car?
Yes.
Yeah.
They had a lot of cousin cars.
Yeah.
It doesn't help a lot. Is it a, well, if it's the less common one, is it a Pontiac? Is it a GMC?
No.
What else do they have? Oldsmobile?
Nope.
No, that's Ford. Isn't it? No, that's
that's GM.
Okay, so Pontiac, Oldsmobile, GMC. Is it a Chevrolet? Is it a Chevrolet?
No.
So, is it a Saturn?
It is Saturn.
Saturn Sky?
Saturn Sky.
That's great.
Number 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had the Pontiac
Solstice.
Sunfire. Oh, yeah, Solstice. Yeah, yeah.
I actually like the Solstice more.
No.
Yeah.
The Sky looks so much better.
They're about the same.
That is like literally the only Saturn car I can name.
But the
Yeah, that's like the only one.
Yeah, they're all like L whatever. Yeah.
That is cool. It's
Saturn,
cool.
like,
Definitely cooler than a
L100.
Miata.
No. Do you know that weighs like almost 1,000 pounds more than a Miata? It's ridiculous.
You're giving him what he wants.
This feeds me to just
This is why I flew across the country.
to just bother him.
I can't get this contact high across the country.
All right, so is this now on to cousin cars?
This is on to Guess the Car, which is a quiz you have for
Jordan.
you.
All right, you ready,
So
Jordan?
you can look at this image right here.
Go ahead. No hints.
Oh, that's a BMW i8.
Okay, all right. My photo was more zoomed in, but yeah, Mason had to replace my photos because I suck at making slides.
I wasn't going to say that.
Because he did he choose a blurry one?
No, I made it the background. We don't have to worry about it. All right, go ahead.
This one's harder.
And just when you say it, whatever your actual answer is, you just say final answer.
Toyota RAV4 Cabriolet. Is that it?
Guy.
I did not think you'd get that one.
I gotta know the guy writing the quiz.
Yeah, that does help.
That's true.
That does help.
I was like, oh,
this one
it's
I
this
saw
weird like cabriolet SUV thing, and I know that he's got a hard on for RAV4s, so
All right, this one is from me.
And you can ask about that piece if you'd like to know more about it. If you need a hint.
that all-wheel drive is that all-wheel drive or four-wheel
It
drive?
says 4-wheel drive.
Oh, four-wheel drive. Okay.
If you want to know about that piece, if you need a hint, I can talk about it.
The rims, they look so familiar.
Rims are aftermarket. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
This is definitely mine.
Oh. I thought I was staring at the left side front of the car. I'm staring at the back side right of the car.
No answer.
Behind the door. And if that is that an air vent?
Yeah, it's for the side exhaust. I'm just kidding.
I was like,
No.
is that an air duct?
Do you know what that's for?
I don't know what it's for.
Oh, okay, I'll tell you about it.
Four-wheel drive. Is this a Subaru?
Dude, you gotta answer and then say final answer.
It's a Subaru Brat.
Correct. Go back to that photo. So that thing is cool. So what that is it actually...
Is it a step?
It's a step. So that little thing flips up and you put your foot in
put
there
your
and it's a
foot in
little
there.
step up
That's
to get into
super
the bed.
smart. That's cool.
It's just so
Yeah.
they have like a little cubby hole for spiders for when you...
No, so actually a lot of people complain about that because it rusts out, obviously, because water gets in there and gets stuck. So then it just rusts through. So having one with those steps in place is actually a big deal in the Subaru.
Oh, in the Brat world?
Brat.
Yeah, you and 7 other people.
Me and my gang.
Is that what you
That's
guys
right.
liked?
Well, it's for getting up into the rear seat to unbuckle the car
Correct.
seats.
That's to get up into that really, really high bed that children can look down into.
That's a preview to our upcoming chicken tax video.
Right.
Real fans. Now.
How's that coming?
It's great.
Okay.
I've got the outline written in my head.
Cool.
If any of you have an affinity for really fat chicken, stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right. This is
For you.
Okay, got it. Blind ranking. Efficiency Kings. Oh, I can't look at the next one, right?
you can't look at the next one. You can look
So Jordan, don't let me see your screen. You're gonna look ahead. Okay. Efficiency Kings.
Efficiency Kings.
Okay.
Rank these cars 1 to 5 without knowing what comes next.
Okay.
First one is
Hummer EV.
Hummer EV, the top of the hill of efficiency. Oh, we'll get there. I don't want to spend too much time on this now because half of our podcast is still going to be on this
addressing
week.
that.
So
Honda Civic.
that's a Honda Accord. Where do you put
Honda
it?
Accord. It 3.
3. Okay.
What is that? Hyundai Elantra.
Sonata.
Salon? Dude, I don't know
Recently
any normal
redesigned.
cars.
Yeah.
Sonata N line.
That is kind of cool. Is that an N line?
Yep. So it has the rims and the blacked out window trim,
I thought
but it has
the N
no
line,
extra power.
I thought the N line. Oh, it's the N cars.
Yeah, so N line is the same as like S line for Audi or Sport line or GT line. M line, yeah, M Sport, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. 4.
It's where you get all the visual stuff but none of the power.
Well, 5. I really don't like the way that those look.
Neither do I.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
All right.
Dude, 1. Easy.
100%. I never thought there'd be the day where I'd put the Prius at the top of any list. But
Yeah.
Here we are.
Except for which car would you like to push off a cliff the most?
No.
There it
I
is.
love the new
Yeah.
Prius.
Yeah, the new one looks
It's
so,
so
good.
sick.
For a Prius, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I just think it looks good in general,
Yeah.
honestly. All right, what's the next one? I mean,
last one is a Corolla hybrid.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Rolls are cool.
For the price, it's actually a way better deal than a Prius. It's like 10 grand.
Well, we'll talk about Toyota too later as well.
We only have 3 flavors on this podcast: Miata, Japanese, and Hummer.
Cuda.
And being wrong about the Hummer, actually.
Yeah.
According to the 4,000 comments.
All right. Rank these cars 1 to 5 without knowing what comes next. The category is daily driver exotics.
Exotics.
So these are exotics that you would actually have to live with.
So these are cars like
You can have no other car, right?
Audi R8, 911.
A car you actually drive to work. So, for example, Logan and I got to ride in the Cuda today, which was fun until we had to go through a drive-through. And nobody can order anything until I turn my car off. And then the AC stops.
You have to pray it'll start again.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say the Cuda is an exotic, just an example of an impractical car.
Right.
An exotic actually.
So keeping in mind the practicality. Got
Yes.
All right, first one. Bentley Continental GT. 1 to 5.
it. I don't deal drugs, so they wouldn't sell me one. I'm going to call that a 4.
Always with the little, like, unrelated asides.
All right, C8 Z06.
Oh, I would have one of those. I would say 2.
2. Just to be safe.
I'm reserving that top spot.
Okay.
Audi R8. And that's the V10. I would rather actually have the V8 with a manual.
The V10 doesn't go with a manual.
I think the V10 does come with it.
Yeah, but I'd rather have the V8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd rather have the V8 because the V10 is the only Lamborghini part in there. And I'd rather have one that I'd actually, for practicality purposes, right? I think might run at some point. Yeah, I'm going to put that as a 3.
Okay.
5.
Lamborghini. Oh, what?
The Lamborghini Anus?
The Urus.
Urus.
Yeah,
Urus.
the Lamborghini Anus.
Urologists.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
who
a
drives those.
Lambo with seating for
No,
4
it's
or
not.
5.
No, it's an Audi RSQ7, and it with some Audi parts on, or with some Lamborghini stuff on it, and it costs double the price. No,
Okay.
and the back slopes, so you can't even fit much more than you can in like an R8 in that thing. So don't even worry about
But
it.
it looks good.
No, it doesn't.
But it's a Lambo.
Also, it's not.
It's cool though.
I like it. Okay, you put it at 5. So the only spot remaining is number 1. And you're not scared of what it might be? Okay. All right.
Your new daily driver is
Aston Martin Vantage.
That's a comfortable number 1.
Okay.
I really thought this whole time
That's number 1.
the Audi R8 would have been my number 1 if I didn't think you were going to sneak a Miata in.
Okay. In what world?
It's not exotic.
Okay.
It's not exotic, but I thought you would do it.
Oh, that's fair. I didn't. And did you notice
They're all yellow.
I found all yellow cars?
Yeah, I didn't put that much thought into mine.
we know.
Thanks.
I've heard my husband complaining about it all day long today, guys. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
All
you just
all
step up your
cars are
slideshow
flying.
game.
All right. So, Jordan, this segment is from you toward Logan, and this is...
Cousin cars.
Cousin cars.
Well, you skip the first one real quick. Because guess what picture I found? Exactly the same picture of the Pontiac or the Saturn Sky.
Don't let me see the next photo, right?
No, this next one. Okay. What is the cousin car to the Lexus LS or ES 350?
So what qualifies a cousin car?
Toyota
It's a car.
Avalon?
Nope.
Toyota Camry?
Camry.
Yeah.
It's a Toyota Camry.
Okay.
So that means that it's built on the same platform, but they put some different stuff on it and sell it as a different car.
The Toyota Yaris? What is that?
That's a
Matrix.
yeah.
Toyota Matrix?
So what is that underneath? I think Mason knows this one.
Only because I'm looking at the picture directly behind you. But
Oh, okay.
Toyota Matrix?
I didn't even know they had a partnership.
Yeah. Is it a Mazda?
Nope.
I promise you, if you don't know this, you will never guess
Is
it.
it a Ford Fiesta?
Nope.
What is it?
It is a Pontiac Vibe.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Where were they built? Were they built in Japan or were they built here?
So the Matrix was built in the U.S. The Vibe was built in Canada.
They wouldn't build them in the same...
You would think. But they're not actually like a GM product with Toyota badging. They are a joint Toyota GM.
I mean, Toyota's done that. They did that with the GT86. Scion.
Yeah. They've done that before, and they also do the rebadging like for the
And
Mazda 2.
Z4.
Yeah, thank you. And the Supra.
Okay. What is that? Dodge Nitro?
Dodge Nitro, what is that?
Jeep Liberty?
It is a Jeep Liberty. Different headlights, different grille, almost identical.
Yeah.
Square fenders for the Jeep, round fenders for the Dodge.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
I think there's
Then
more.
we got one more, which is the Pontiac G5.
A Pontiac.
Is that G5 or is that G6?
Nope, that's a G5.
a-
Smaller than the G6.
It's not a Caprice.
Caprice wasn't even sold here.
And then, so it would be... what's the small, like a Chevy Cobalt or something?
It is a Chevy Cobalt. So I got red for Pontiac and blue for the Cobalt.
See, Tom?
A little bit.
I didn't have any complaints. I don't know what Gary's talking about. She's trying to throw me under the bus.
Fucking shit.
Logan's concept versus reality.
Section. Did you look at this, Mason?
I compiled the slides, so...
Alright.
So tell us what is this There's a new segment.
New
So what is
segment.
this?
Concept versus reality. This is the concept car, and then what the car was actually released as. And you're going to try to guess what the actual car is.
Okay.
And I've blacked out some like gimmies that are in the badges and stuff, but you've got the photo, okay? All right, go ahead. First one. What is this?
Oh, geez. That looks like a GTR.
Okay, final answer?
Yeah, it also says GTR on the side.
Oh, because
Right there,
it's
where it
blacked
says-
out. It's blacked out
where-
on mine.
It says GTR in...
Mason put the photo in. It's blacked out. It's blacked out on mine.
But I feel like you knew it before
Oh,
you
yeah,
saw the
no,
badge.
From the grill and the headlights, yeah.
You're right.
And then this is a concept further along in production that I added.
Oh, totally, yeah.
With the hood vent, yeah.
And then the final one.
And that go back to, you see the A pillar is silver here, and you go into the next one, closer to production, then the real one is also black on the A pillar.
All right, next up. What is this?
That is the Dodge Charger 1998 concept that they turned into the 2005 Dodge Charger.
Correct.
Technically, I think it was 2006, right? Or was it 2005?
It was 5. The 300C was 2006.
Okay. Next.
I couldn't get this one when you showed me.
What is that?
That looks like that's a RAV4.
We'll show you another angle.
Yeah, it's a RAV4.
You're correct.
That is a Toyota RAV4.
Yeah, no, go back to. This gave it away right here. These lines in the doors.
Lines, yeah.
Look at those tires, though. How goofy those tires look.
It's so weird to see them so narrow.
It looks like it was probably originally pitched as a K car. Because if you look at the wheels on the side, they're perfectly in line with the side of the body going all the way up, because the K car designation is basically that the entire vehicle from bottom to top has to be able to fit within the space. You see what I mean?
So they use every available...
Yeah, so the doors themselves will be very thin. You know what I mean? So you can maximize it.
For being extra safe.
Yeah, they're not safe at all. But I think part of the reason, if you go to the next one, the production RAV4s, I think and this could be totally wrong, I think they gave up on the whole K car thing, because one of the other things with the K cars is that they have to have a certain engine displacement. They basically use like moped motors.
They're maximum of 660 cc's.
Yeah.
But it was originally a lot less, but they upped it, right?
I'm not sure. I lived there for 4 years. I don't know. But this uses the 3SFE motor, which was in a ton of vehicles. So, and that definitely would not be K car compliant.
Yeah, K car is 0.6 of a liter is I think their max.
Yeah, it's like a dirt bike engine.
I mean, for context, the go-kart that I built has a 2.2 liter engine.
So that's it for our speed rounds. We will move on to our discussion segments. First up is the news. So first up in our news segments today, there's been some updates for someone's favorite vehicle.
So the Miata is on generation ND3. And if you don't already know, the Miata generations are NA, NB, NC, ND, right? Each generation received ongoing updates and improvements. They got small things here and there to fix small customer complaints, but the main focus was keep it lightweight, keep it fun. But there's an NA, NA2, and then NB, NB2. So there, at some point in this generation, it received a large update, and the community calls them, before the update, NA1, after the update, NA2, right? Now we're on ND, and as of this year, it's ND3. And what is the big change that happened? They got a bigger screen, which, thank the heavens, is actually a touch screen now. It's up from 7 inches to 8.8.
We talked about this.
I spent all that time defending the dial. They didn't even listen to me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they might have had this in the works before our last conversation. Nope. Okay.
Nope.
They saw their podcast,
Yeah,
and they're like, you know what?
Screw that guy.
But you can use it with the dial or touchscreen now.
Okay.
And the reason is the new CX5 or CX50 has the same unit, 8.8, and you can use it as a touchscreen. The headlights are slightly different. There's no more running lights in the little dimples on the sides of the front grille. On some models, I think it's a vent now for the brakes.
Now, is this the one you want to buy?
Yes, in this color. Not that interior, though. I like the tan.
What is that color called? Sapphire red?
That would be a soul red crystal. That is God's gift to paint. Yeah.
That tattooed on you somewhere.
So anyway, there's a few different changes, but the other one is that they changed the steering a little bit, and even professional people who, again, get to drive these cars back to back, for the most part, cannot tell the difference in the steering. They claim that it changes the high frequency vibrations, so road texture, that sort of thing. And then the differential, the limited slip differential, is also slightly different in that on turn-in, it loads up under braking so that it allows for less slip. Very often going into a high-speed turn, if you're under braking, the Miata will want to step out, and you won't be able to get back on the power as quickly until you straighten out again. So under braking, the new one does not step out.
That's not as much fun.
You could still get it to step out as much as you want under acceleration. We're talking about lift off oversteer, where you lift off the gas and start to apply the brake, and you just start to come around. So you get to have as much fun as you want. It just means that when you're actually trying to set a lap time, you can get a better one. I would say they should give it the ND3 moniker to the 2022 model because that one got kinematic posture control, which adds 0 weight, very typical Mazda in this, adds no weight. It's just software that hugs the inside right rear tire of the car while you're turning. Under enough G's, it will just pinch that right rear brake if you're turning right.
Did the 2022 get any cosmetic changes?
In different years, they have different special colors, like regular stuff.
Like this one, you said that they
did that.
There's some stuff that around the face.
Headlights and taillights. That's it.
For ND3, this one, right?
For this one.
But what about the 2022?
2022 got no outside visual stuff.
Yeah, so that's why they did that, because you can't tell that from if I'm walking down a parking lot.
But you also can't tell the visual difference between ND1 and ND2. The difference between ND1 and ND2 is that ND2 can rev higher. Oh. And you can't walk past it and know that.
Okay.
Unless you look in the window and see the tachometer can go higher.
There you go. So you can see it.
Yes. I could walk by and look in the window and go, that's an ND2. Anyway, so I think that 2022 deserved that because from what I've heard, I haven't driven them back to back, so I can't say, but from the reviewers I've read and seen, they say that the difference between having KPC and not having KPC is like the difference between having a limited slip differential and not having a limited slip differential in the ability to control the car in high-speed turns, which is really cool. They also added a couple of things. They added a little bit more leather stitching to the inside, changed up a couple of little things like the pattern of the stitching and whatnot. It's really very minor. They got new rims. That's the other way you can tell, is they gave you a different rim option. I just wanted to add one other thing. This is about all Miatas. Did you know that if you paid more and got the automatic, they take away some of the structural bracing and the limited slip differential?
That's your punishment for being a peasant.
Exactly. If you pay more money to get the automatic, they take the limited slip and they take the underhood bracing.
Oh, we want to keep the curb weight low for automatics. Automatic transmission is heavier than a manual.
They'll probably phrase it like that, but you know that they really just want people to experience the car the way they're supposed to.
That could be part of it. It could also be to kind of subsidize some of the cost of the manual without raising the price of it. Kind of like how the Demon 170, it can come with a sunroof, but it's like a $20,000 option or something. And it's not that it costs that much more, but it's to make the price of the carbon rims cheaper so that people have the ability to get that. So like, if you want to, like if you're going to ruin all of the engineering that goes into like getting that 4,000 pound boat to lift off the ground and set like record breaking quarter mile times, if you're going to like slap a sunroof on there, you're going to pay out the nose to do it. And it will subsidize some of the other things that they're technically selling at a loss.
Okay, so if some dope goes and gets the sunroof, it pays for someone else to get
rims.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're kind of lost leading the manual a little bit and then making up for it with the automatic.
Other thing though, with 2024 is for the very first time, you cannot buy a new Miata for under 30 grand.
I'm actually astonished that it is at 30 grand.
I was shocked. Yeah.
Steal. That is such a steal.
It's so much car for the money. You can get...
Is it rear wheel drive?
It's rear wheel drive. Front engine, manual, 6-speed, rear wheel drive.
That is an increasingly lonely table.
And the manual comes standard with a strut tower brace, limited slip differential.
How many more years do you think the Miata has?
It's literally the Miata, just like it's like that John Travolta gif where he's just
just standing alone. Yeah.
Do you think the Miata will be the last?
Absolutely.
The last one.
It's gonna be the last.
Do you know that
It's kind of just the core of that segment, and it's the cheapest.
it's not the core of the segment, it's the core of the whole brand.
It's gonna be a sad day when it's gone.
It is. And I'm done talking about that for now.
Logan, what's your segment for today?
All right, so new cars and privacy. So Mozilla, they a lot of people know them from like Firefox web browser. They're a tech company in general, but they're cybersecurity is pretty important to them. So they do these like periodic investigations into other companies, like independent assessments of other companies, right? Something wrong? No? Okay. So they went to 25 car brands to do like a third-party assessment of their cybersecurity posture, and all 25 of them failed. And the primary failure is a lack of encryption for over-the-air data. So a little bit of an asterisk to this. A lot of the brands weren't really confirming or denying that they had encryption for over-the-air transmission, which means, if your car is going to connect to like a satellite array, or if it's going to connect to Wi-Fi or things like that, does it transmit the data encrypted or in the clear? All data transmitted should be encrypted, right? And because they wouldn't admit whether or not it is encrypted, then the assumption is that it's not, right? And actually in their independent testing, it's usually not, right? So the biggest offender, shocking nobody, is Nissan. So Nissan is horrible.
just the punching bag of
So
this podcast.
Nissan will collect your sexual activity, your health diagnosis.
Wait, what sexual activity are you doing with your car?
How does it even?
I'm glad you asked. So
Do you think we weren't gonna ask?
if you connect your phone to your Nissan, then that terms of service that you don't read, that data gets shared and it's acknowledged in those terms of services, right? In that all that paperwork you receive with a new car, that's where that stuff is stated. So your data, and then also Nissan purchases and sells your data as well. So they can, maybe don't receive the data directly from a phone that's connected to the car or from the car itself, but they'll receive it from a third-party data broker and then associate it to you. You see what I mean? And
So
then they
your
can
car
take
is
that.
just swiping your...
Yeah, cars are the
Photos
worst
between you-
offenders. Everything. So so when you click that button that says like allow contacts, photos, everything, it takes all of that and sells it immediately, and it transmits that data over the air unencrypted. So anybody who doesn't want to buy it can steal it. And actually, that's a lot of Chinese car companies. The data is more valuable because that's an ongoing profit. When you buy a car, you just buy it once. Other companies are trying to find ways to make cars into an ongoing profit, like vehicle, literally. You know what I mean? And so like BMW has like subscription heated seats. A lot of Chinese companies, Tesla, Nissan, they take your data and they sell it, and they keep updating that and selling it. And so even though you bought the car once, that's a one-time purchase, but every time you connect your phone to it, you log in, right? And you give it access, they take whatever data is differential from the previous data you gave them, and then they sell it, and then they make money off of that.
I can't imagine what they're like, oh my gosh, this guy loves pocket knives. Like,
Yeah. So Nissan will collect and sell the following: sexual activity, health diagnosis data, genetic data, financial data. And then in a quote, they said Nissan can share and sell consumer preferences, characteristics, predispositions, behavior, attitudes, intelligence, abilities, and aptitudes. Can share and sell. And then, connected via, or data is gathered via connected peripheral devices, onboard cameras, microphones, so your likeness, right? So like, for instance, in some vehicles, they will be watching your face to make sure that you don't fall asleep at the wheel, but also they're taking that photo of your face and they're selling it to other people. Maybe you have a machine learning algorithm that's learning how human faces look when they drive, for example.
And they want
Hundreds of thousands of hours of data.
of someone just staring or making different
Exactly.
Faces.
If somebody
Instead of
what it
like-
looks like when someone's falling asleep or not. Somebody
or large
is,
language models while they're talking in the car.
Sure. Yeah. How? And then the most unsafe brands are Tesla, Toyota, Kia, and Hyundai.
Oh boy.
Renault
Got two of those.
is the most safe because they're beholden to something called the GDPR. So that is the General Data Privacy Regulation. It's a European regulation that all companies that have technological interfaces, which is basically anything, right? Anybody that handles personal information, right? They have data privacy requirements outlined in this regulation, and it's kept pretty up to date, and all European companies are beholden to it.
Doesn't Renault own Nissan?
If Nissan's selling the cars in America and it's purchased by American consumers,
don't have to.
they're not beholden to GDPR at all, no. Yep, so that's that. And then one last thing with that. All new Mercedes will come with TikTok pre-installed
Lovely.
on the infotainment system.
I was gonna say.
For how much longer?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's hope it gets banned soon.
I was gonna say how does it do your intelligence abilities and aptitudes? But I was gonna say if it knows like what apps are on your phone and it sees you have TikTok, they can assume you're below average intelligence.
There it is.
I was waiting for the connection.
Yeah.
So you can you can doom scroll while you drive,
So,
and then just hit the median. But yeah, so they come with TikTok pre-installed, and that's another thing. If the apps on your phone are collecting data on you, and then you connect your phone to your car, and your car's collecting the raw data from your phone, that's how that data gets shared. So think of all your messages, think of the images you've shared, think of.
But what I don't get is my phone the car would have to be downloading that information, right? Otherwise, it's just getting metadata. All it knows is I took a picture at X time. It's not getting the image because that's a lot more data, right? It's not downloading 700 gigs of stuff every time I connect my car to my car.
No, it's not downloading 700 gigs of things, but it does have access to them, and it can. You know, these cars are smarter than people think. So, for example, we'll talk about this later about the Tesla stuff, and we use this as a transition. Elon Musk, in an earnings call, proposed using Teslas that are parked in people's garages and connected to Wi-Fi to mine cryptocurrency, for example, when they're not in use, as a way to make extra money for the company.
Well, they have basically like a PS5 graphics processor in them. So
And they've got millions of them on the road with that get charged. You know, somebody maybe uses a 20% battery, plugs it in, it's charged within the next hour, and then it sits for the next 7 hours doing nothing, connected to Wi-Fi's.
But if it's mining, it's going to be using more power.
Correct, but it'll be charging.
Tesla's making money off of you spending more on electricity to charge the car while it's mining.
Correct, and that's why that's controversial, because this was just something that was talked about on an earnings call, is that they would basically be stealing your electricity to do it. Anyway, probably the way it would manifest is that you would opt into a program and get prorated like electricity costs at like
You get like
superchargers or something. You get like a little $5 coupon. You go, nice, I got my $5 coupon. And meanwhile, Tesla's stealing $400 a month of electricity from you.
it's not going to be that much.
We drive our Tesla every day, and we spend probably $30 a month extra on electricity.
So then next up, this leads into it actually. Yeah, so Tesla. All right, so have you seen my slides, Jordan?
I'm not.
Don't look. If you had to guess, since January, how much is Tesla stock down?
All the electric cars are down, and they follow Tesla, so I have to assume it's kind of a lot. I'm going to say, is it double digits?
Just guess.
20%.
They are down 32% since January. It's lost a third of its value.
Oh my God.
They laid off 10% of their global workforce. My LinkedIn is just all people that got laid off from Tesla. They're like, I'm looking for work. Like, please. I was pretending to do someone else's job for the last 4 years. I have no skills. Someone hire me. Laid off 10% of their global workforce. Elon Musk says that they're right-sizing, trying to move into the next phase of development. Other companies affected, obviously, Apple killed the Apple Car project. Yeah, still no calculator app for iPad, but we were going to get an Apple Car. But anyway, so now what's interesting about this, so do you guys, we talked about this a little bit earlier, do you remember the one company that wasn't going to commit to EVs?
Toyota.
How much do you think their stock is up since January?
A lot.
I'm going to guess 17%.
25%. Stock is up 25%.
For regulatory reasons, it was a loss leader. I think that BZ, BX4, BZ, and
yeah, I think it was a regulatory requirement that
They had to have an electric
I think it was in California in order to sell any cars in California.
BZ4X, that's what it is.
Yeah, and they just threw together just the most crap thing with a joint Subaru project.
yeah, and then it costs more than a Model Y. It goes slower and less range.
They don't care about it.
They don't care about it at all. Yeah, I just can imagine it's like the same people that got banished to work on Shrek at DreamWorks for like the people at Toyota. That got,
They're all former Tesla employees.
they're like, yeah, come here.
Actually work.
What was interesting is like Q4 2022, Toyota's like, we don't think that EVs are the future. We think that they're a solution. We don't think that they're the solution. But remember, Q4 2022, EVs were crazy, blowing up. And now kind of, everybody's looking back to Toyota like,
Definitely
been ahead of the curve.
prophetic. Yeah.
Well, and something we talked about earlier was everyone was talking about Toyota blowing their lead because they've been in EVs and hybrids for such a long time. But maybe Toyota had the wisdom because of that experience to know that EVs weren't the whole solution.
And they're pushing really hard. Their hybrid technology is so far ahead of everybody else. Their EV technology obviously isn't, but they don't really care. It's their hybrid technology. You can get a Corolla, and they've gotten the cost down on hybrids so much. You can get a Corolla for less than $25,000 that gets nearly 50 to the gallon.
I'll talk about this in when we talk about the Hummer. But as far as like getting the most value, it's for driving. It's not EVs. It's a hybrid.
Yeah.
Both in terms of getting the furthest on the amount of money for a fill up, it's comparable for a hybrid, especially if you live in a place where electricity is expensive and gas is cheap. Like a hybrid is just as cheap to drive as an electric car. and you don't do the kind of damage to the environment that a full EV does.
Well, so one last thing is one of the kind of markers of Tesla's troubles was the controversial rollout of the Cybertruck.
What?
I have heard of rusting. Is that what we're talking about?
A little more serious than that.
Because I have heard about another thing. Are we talking about the other thing?
They're talking about the other thing.
The, oh my gosh, it's accelerating on its own kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Following in Toyota's footsteps.
Don't you love that their slogan at the time when they had that?
Moving forward.
Yeah, it was Toyota, moving forward.
Even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Even if you're screaming and slamming on the brakes.
All right. So Tesla Cybertruck, the issue that's happening is unintended acceleration, which is the worst type of acceleration when you're in a 6,000, 7,000 pound truck.
That can do like 3 seconds to 60 or whatever.
Yeah, a refrigerator flying down the road at 80 miles an hour. So the way it happens is there's a pad on the accelerator pedal that gets dislodged and it slides up forward. And if it happens in the right location, it can actually get lodged underneath a trim piece and it will hold the accelerator pedal down. And even when you let your foot off of it, it keeps it down. And this actually occurred. They did an internal investigation to figure it out. Apparently, to put those pads on, some of the workforce on the assembly line would use soap to kind of lubricate the pad so it can get on. But that soap, I guess, doesn't allow for the adhesive to properly cure. Whatever the reason is, the pads are slipping off and they'll occasionally lock the accelerator pedal down. Now, thankfully, one of the benefits to it being an electric truck that is, well engineered, and they've thought about a lot of this, if the Cybertruck detects both accelerator and braking, especially if you're pushing down on the brake a lot, it will only accept the braking. It will actually not put any power to the accelerator.
If you take your foot off the brake, does it just go again?
I don't know. But if you're pushing both, it will just brake. And it will brake as quickly as if you are not pushing the accelerator. So to this point, there have not been any accidents or injuries reported. So at least there's that. The resolution is they're installing a rivet at the base of the pedal, and this is done at service centers and mobile repair if available. Apparently it's a 15-minute job, and they're going to keep using the adhesive, but they're also going to install a rivet at the bottom in case the adhesive fails. There's still something holding the pad to the pedal. This is how the pad gets dislodged there on the left, and it can slide up and get stuck, and then that's a picture of the rivet on the right that gets installed. And it's just a mobile service member, or you bring it to a shop and they do it for free, 15 minutes, and it's done. So it's still a serious issue, but thankfully no one's been injured so far.
It's good that the accelerator pedal in this refrigerator looks like a spatula.
Yes, very kitchen themed. Yeah. So the impact of this is deliveries were halted while engineers investigated. No crashes or injuries reported, but almost 4,000 trucks now that are out there all have to have this. They're all affected, or potentially. They don't know, so they have to bring them all in and install this rivet. They've already started doing this on the assembly line. So any new trucks going forward are going to have this issue. So
Thank God I was about to go pick mine up.
yeah, right? For those of you that have one reserved. So that's kind of a shorter segment. When I started looking into this, I thought it was going to be more to talk about, but it's kind of straightforward. So instead, I wanted to spend a little bit more time talking about something that was revealed this week, and that was Ram's new off-road lineup.
They have 5 trucks?
They have 5 trucks, 5 off-road trims. So 3 are brand new, 2 are just the most recent refreshes.
Let me see if I can figure this out. I know there's a Power Wagon. There's always been a Power Wagon. The new one is the RHO. There's a TRX, but they stopped that one. What are the other 3? Oh, the Rebel.
The Rebel.
The Rebel.
And there's a 2500 Rebel.
Oh, that counts. Rebel? That counts as a
2500 Rebel. And there's Power Wagon, and there's the Warlock. This is just a 2024 Ram 2500 heavy-duty Rebel, okay? And they started that in 2023, so this is just the newest one of it. The 2024 Ram 2500 Power Wagon, so that's the kind of overland trim, rock crawling, towing. It's a recovery type vehicle. It's not meant for the kind of high-speed Baja stuff the Raptor and the TRX are meant for. This is, I want to build a cabin in the middle of the woods in Alaska, and I want to bring like 1,000 pounds of wood with me out in the middle of nowhere. The Power Wagon's the trim you want.
The one that you're confident is going to get up and over like really tough trails with fallen trees and whatever else.
Okay. Then there's brand new for 2025, these are the brand new trucks, have the Hurricane engines and all that. The 1500 Warlock, which is kind of the base off-road trim. The 1500 Rebel and Rebel X, which are an intermediate off-road trim. X is like the 10-year anniversary of the Rebel, and it's kind of got some extra like features.
Wow.
Is
That's been
RHO
around for 10 years.
Rebel? Yeah.
Is the RHO the Rebel high output?
No, it's the Ram high output. Yeah. So it's the RHO is the top of the line trim. It's the one centered right there in the middle. Now, if you didn't know about this reveal and you look at that picture, you would say that's just a TRX sitting in the middle.
Except there says RHO in the back corner.
This is RHO on the back, and it has a few other stylistic changes. So if we go here, this is... I don't really want to talk about the other ones. There's not really a whole lot to talk about there. The RHO, there's actually quite a bit to talk about.
Can I point something out about all of them together?
Yeah.
The fact that I couldn't tell you which one costs the most tells you that there's too many in that lineup.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, the real question is, are they selling a lot of all of them? If so.
So the 2500 RHO stands for Ram High Output. It's kind of nicknamed the Rhino, RHO.
Oh, that's cool.
It's meant to be... People are thinking of this as... If they're thinking of this as an RTX replacement, they're thinking of it all wrong. It is an entry-level RTX. They're... what RTX? Not graphics card. No. TRX. Think of the reverse of what Ford did. Ford made the Raptor, and then the TRX came in with a supercharged V8 and said, no, this is what people want. And then Ford said, okay. And so they made a Raptor R. So now Ford sells both the Raptor and the Raptor R. Ram basically did the opposite. They came out with their Raptor R, which is the TRX. Now they're coming out with
The one below it.
the one below it.
Which is the RHO.
Is the TRX still going to be on sale?
No, right? It's
Tim Knuskis specifically said we don't want to use the TRX name yet.
right, because they can't keep selling it because of environmental reasons.
You know, what Chevy should do is they should make a 900 horsepower Silverado, call it the Silverado Meteor.
just to beat all of the dinosaurs.
Yeah. I know a bunch of headlines this week have been like, well, it's official, the T-Rex is extinct.
Yeah.
So it's 540 horsepower and 521 pound-feet of torque. So that is down 162 horsepower and 129 pound-feet of torque from the TRX. So I think you're right. They don't want to use the TRX name. I think for a couple reasons. They don't want to piss people off, and they want to keep that around in case there's ever a scenario where they can dust it off or something.
Or, for example, they take the smaller Hurricane engine and do what they're doing with the Ram Charger.
Could be.
And they make it electric drive with a gas generator.
So this right here doesn't look very different, but it is lighter by like 180 pounds, 160 pounds, something like that. And all that weight's up front. There's no iron block supercharged V8 up front anymore. So it's lighter, it's stronger, it's more rigid, has better towing, better payload.
Then the TRX? Wow.
TRX.
It is 1/10 of a second slower to 60. It's also only 0.2 of a second and 3 miles an hour slower in a quarter mile. They're very close. Do you want to guess how much cheaper this is than the TRX?
It can't be that much cheaper. Because the TRX is like 83 or 88.
It's 93 now.
93. Jeez. This has got to be 75.
71 after destination. It's like 69.9. So it's like over 20K cheaper.
Is it 69.9 the way that the original Hellcat was 49.9?
But more importantly, this is $35,000 cheaper than a Raptor R. Now, to be fair, this isn't really competing with the Raptor R. This is competing with the regular Raptor. But even then, it's like, I say 6K here in the slide, but it's actually closer to 8K cheaper than the Raptor, which is competing against. It's actually cheaper than a Tundra TRD Pro. And this is a way more capable truck.
It almost doesn't matter if it's cheaper than the Raptor because nobody buying a Raptor is cross-shopping an RHO because they're Ford people. Ford truck people. They're never going to... The Raptor
Trucks are the highest.
could be worse in every single way. Or in the reverse. Like the Ram could be worse in every single way.
But what if you could afford a TRX or a RHO, but you couldn't afford a Raptor?
Does 8K really matter? Yeah, and when you're buying a $70,000 vehicle?
Over how many months?
Yeah, that's true.
No one's going to get the car they don't want when they're spending that much money.
Yeah.
So this is the TRX and the RHO side by side. And I'll give you a minute to figure out which one's which.
RHO's on the right.
Yeah, RHO's on the right and the TRX is on the left. You can see some graphical changes in the lower bumper. It's hard to see on the screen.
No, the cheeks. Look at where the bump out is under the headlights. It's a lower.
They're taller. The headlights are a little bit different. Graphics are different, but it's very similar. And underneath, suspension-wise and everything, it's all the same. Same suspension travel, same ground clearance.
Don't reinvent it. It's just going to cost you more money.
The only thing that's different is it's a little bit lighter, so they had to retune all that to account for it. So if anything, it's just a little bit more nimble, right? I mean, it's not even 200 pounds lighter, so it's not going to make a huge difference. But so here's the back. I mean, very similar again. Taillights are a little bit different.
Okay, does it not have rear blinds?
I was wondering that. I think they just hide it better. It must be somewhere else because they integrate that into the tail lights. Yeah. So side by side, if we take a look,
what was your prompt? Ram with a T-Rex and a Rhino?
Yeah, basically, it was a epic picture of a Rhino and a T-Rex with a Ram truck in the foreground. It did pretty good.
It did really good.
So I'll leave this up just for a second. So here they are side by side with all the specs. You could see price wise that's a significant amount cheaper.
$27,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, I said 21 on there. It is closer to like 27,000. This is now the price of what the TRX was when it first came out 4 years ago, whatever it was. Which tells you how expensive cars have gotten.
Yes, they have.
You can see the power, the torque is definitely down. It is a little bit lighter. That 4.5, I have an asterisk there because all the independent journalists have tested it, and they're like, the TRX is way faster than that. Like, we're getting sub 4 seconds in the TRX consistently.
Okay.
So that's Ram's number. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe that's on sand. I don't know.
Also, one thing to note, 71.9 in 2024. Just try to imagine if you got this truck in 2014, that 71.9 would have been more like $65,000, $60,000. Like,
and this is a very, very capable vehicle. It's quick in the quarter mile. The towing's up. The payload's up. And look at, I'm going to talk about the gas mileage. I know what the comments are going to say. If you're buying this truck, you don't care about the gas mileage. Okay, cool. I understand that. Are you going to tell me you enjoy going to the gas station, spending more money on gas? Like, that's a considerable amount better.
It is.
That's 50% better in the city.
Well,
And in the highway, even more than that.
I do think that TRX owners, they do specifically hate the environment. Yeah, they hate it.
I got a point to make about the speed. I might be wrong. I have to look this up later. I'm going to definitely lean on Mason to do all of the research, and I'm not going to do anything. But I'm pretty sure when they had advertised the 4.5 seconds, they had said that's 4.5 seconds over any terrain.
4.5 seconds at the bottom of the lake.
that's pretty good.
Dude.
On the moon?
This isn't a replacement for the TRX, and it's not a competitor to the Raptor R. This is a competitor to the base Raptor. So putting those side by side, we need a quick little AI image to show what that looks like. So you got the Raptor on the left and the Rhino on the right. Made this specifically to fight the Raptor, leaving room for an eventual Raptor R competitor. So this is really more what it's meant to compete against. But even then, this is
a serious...
$8,000 cheaper, almost 100 more horsepower. What, 600, almost 600 pounds? It's heavier by 600 pounds because the Fords are made out of aluminum. Yeah. A full second faster 0 to 60, much faster quarter mile. Towing's marginally better. Payload's marginally better. Gas mileage is better. Ground clearance is off by 0.2 of an inch.
You're never going to go on a trail in the Raptor that you're not going to go on.
Right. I've only had 0.2 more inches.
Yeah, exactly.
When you put the Raptor and the new Rhino side by side, this does not look good for the Raptor. Now, to your point, Raptor buyers will continue to buy Raptors, and Ram buyers will continue to buy Rams.
You could have like 300 horsepower.
He will be off in the corner.
Yeah, just
sniffing glue. Yeah.
Objectively, the Ram is a more compelling product. It's faster, stronger, lighter, more efficient. It's better, and it's cheaper, significantly cheaper.
And it has that like trusty Chrysler reliability.
So we're going to introduce a new segment this week, which is called Offensive Car Ads.
There goes our monetization.
And before you ask, yes, these are real. These are real ads. So this one here. is an advertisement.
I thought this was an AI image. No?
Me too.
No.
No.
Oh yeah, this is older.
Oh my god.
No, is that Paris Hilton driving?
That is Paris Hilton with the Kardashian sisters
Is that what that is?
bound and gagged in the back seat.
Oh my god.
They did OJ's daughter dirty, dog. It sucks, man.
They really did.
It's meant to advertise the abundant cargo space in the Ford Fiago. Arguably, that's not the thing you're immediately noticing in the picture. It's a depiction of the Kardashian sisters bound and gagged in the trunk with Paris Hilton at the wheel. Now, to be fair, it never ran in paid media. This was part of a JYT India, which is an advertising firm in India, who had started running with this idea before it getting sanctioned by anyone. And it was distributed on a website without any approval or oversight. So Ford really didn't have anything to do with it. But they did contract with this company to do advertisements. But it was distributed without any approval. So this is pretty bad on its own. So you're probably thinking, well, at least these are public figures and there's a woman at the wheel, right? If this had been a man at the wheel and just random women bound and gagged, that would be...
I'm feeling some really deep foreshadowing.
That would be pretty terrible. Which is exactly... They made 3 of these. 3 of these.
It says "Leave your worries behind" is the tagline.
Leave your worries behind.
But you're literally taking it with you. I don't.
So that's actually the Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. I apologize if I got that wrong. So he's at the wheel with a bunch of women in the back. I'm kind of at a loss. I
wonder if there was like a
Sex scandal or something.
scandal or something.
It could be. Maybe this makes sense if you're Italian, but
This was done by an Indian company.
yeah, an Indian advertising firm. The only one I think that's actually okay is they did another one with Michael Schumacher and his F1 rivals.
Kimi Räikkönen, Lewis Hamilton, and who's that one on the right? Oh, there's that Mac.
All right. I mean, it doesn't resonate with me, but it's like, okay. I was going to have you guys guess what a year. I was like, yeah, imagine an ad, for a vehicle of like, you're wanting to advertise how much cargo space. And so you're like, you can fit 3 women bound and gagged in the trunk. Like what year? Like
1951.
yeah, maybe like 2005. Yeah.
Okay, I've got a little bit of marketplace mayhem for you.
Well, Logan has one that he wants us to look at.
This one's mine. It says, you're not the first, but do you really care? And it's for the BMW used car selection.
Did this actually run?
Yeah, it's a real ad.
What year did this?
I don't know. It looks
5.
like the 90s.
So are they saying that if you have relations with a woman who's not a virgin, that you're essentially driving something that is used?
This does look for print media, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the aspect
magazine.
ratio. So, yep.
What magazine? My gosh.
I mean, I'm not justifying it, but in like a pornographic magazine, if you had ads in there, considering the material in there, this wouldn't seem that out of place, right? Or
If you're like,
a guy like, oh, this is so offensive.
yeah,
You got a point.
This pushes it over the edge for me.
Yeah.
I'm done objectifying women.
yeah.
Anyway, next page.
I've got some marketplace mayhem for you. These were fan submitted. The 2 that I have today. I didn't get the video, but there is a video of a guy driving this thing around, and he is like hammering this thing through some.
Because he was hammered drunk.
No. So he wants this thing.
That's a Civic.
It's a 2008 Civic. It's sold for $5,000. It looks like here in Phoenix.
Oh my gosh.
145,000 miles. Looks straight out of Mad Max. And the video is of him actually driving the thing, and he's like plowing over like these dirt mounds.
This
But
dude
did he
builds-
meet Don Toretto?
This dude builds Fast and Furious cars.
Yeah, like the movies. Yeah, if you guys don't get that, go back and watch our like 3rd episode.
Our last marketplace mayhem.
Yeah. So clearly there have been some modifications. And he wants-
Is it all-wheel drive?
I don't know. I would guess it's got to be like
Actually, he sticks his feet through the bottom like the Flintstones.
it's foot wheel drive. Owned the car since 2011. Been through many phases. Yep. Well, that can be said of us all, friend. But yeah, look at the fender flares. This thing it's had every bit and piece welded and tacked on. And okay, so then the next marketplace mayhem. This is the only picture they had. It's a 2017 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. And what were you saying, Logan, about being at the bottom of a lake?
Yep.
So $500 seems like a steal.
I assume you have to get it yourself.
Probably. It says it ran when I parked it a few months ago. Freshly detailed new tires.
Let's have a sense of humor.
Yeah. I do love people that just meme on Marketplace where they'll be like, used napkin. I know what I got. 500 OBA.
When the Navy or Air Force or whatever lost the F-35, someone's like very cryptic.
Marines.
Yeah. They're like, I found flying object.
True barn find.
Asking $312 million.
No low balls.
I know what I got.
Yeah, so this is up there, but it's been freshly detailed. So
Thoroughly washed.
Could you imagine if you got there and like the guy fully committed to the bit? He was dressed as like Aquaman. It's like-
no, Mermaid Man or Barnacle Boy.
More likely.
All right. Hot takes. So this is yours, Logan. So tell us.
I just want to talk about this because I bought mom and dad Sequoia.
I mean, this is notable on this podcast. You bought a vehicle this week.
Bought a 2006 Toyota Sequoia. Very clean, probably the cleanest one left because, I got it from mom and dad.
Got it from a couple who bought it new.
Yep, they were the second owners and 76,000 miles. So my hot take is that the first-gen Sequoias are the dark horse Toyota overlanding and off-road rigs. Because underneath, they're actually a Land Cruiser product. That's what they are. They share the same drivetrain. They share the same frame.
Land Cruiser Prado, that's a Land Cruiser sold in Europe, right?
That's a Land Cruiser sold in other markets, including Japan, that is basically a slightly smaller form factor Land Cruiser, but with basically all the same capabilities, or most of the same.
So would this be like rebadged in other areas as a Land Cruiser Prado, or is it different?
It's different because it's bigger in all other dimensions. That is the actual body. So it's longer, it's taller.
Bigger.
Yeah, the Sequoia is bigger than the Land Cruiser Prado. So it's got more space in front of and behind the wheels. It seats 8. It has a ton, this is important for overlanding, it has a ton of roof space. So it's like a large, flat, wide, long roof. And then it's got the 4.7 liter V8. It doesn't have the same premium on the name like 4Runners and Land Cruisers do, although that has changed a little bit. The challenge with these is it's really hard to find a nice one that's relatively low miles. It's actually way easier to find one over 300,000 miles than it is to find one under like 150,000. The forums, because of course when you buy a new car, you join all the forums, right?
Quick on through.
Yeah, I'm already in all the forums. I posted some photos of it and people were like, this is the nicest Sequoia left, probably, because it did have some problems. So one, it was a little big, it's pretty inefficient. It's a V8, your full-size SUV. It's about as efficient as like an Excursion, right?
Been on a road trip in that particular one you bought, and it is not quiet.
Yeah.
Highway.
They are usually high mileage. The one that I bought is 76,000 miles, which is incredible. And it had the... Now, there's a couple big problems, the frame rust and the timing belt. One of those is bigger than the other. So the timing belt is the bigger problem because the deal with those, with that 4.7 liter V8, is if that timing belt breaks while you're in motion, the general consensus is it's time for a new engine.
Well, is it an interference engine?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
If it's not an interference engine, it shouldn't matter.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm just going off what the forums say. That it's very, very important to change your timing belt at least every 90,000 miles. And it's not an expensive job. It's like $1,200. The frame rust is actually usually, or how should I frame this? Now, this might be a little bit wrong, but from what I understand, Tundras and Sequoias of this era, the frames rusted too quickly and it didn't meet regulatory requirements. So Toyota had to issue a recall. But if your VIN is affected, you can bring it back to a Toyota dealer today and they will replace your entire frame for free.
What? So?
Yeah, still.
Do you know if yours is one of the ones that was
I haven't checked yet. But what's cool about ours is it was purchased in Arizona and it was kept here and serviced at the same dealership its entire life. And so the frame is completely rust-free.
Do you know it was also garage kept for the last 12, 14 years or whatever it was?
Yeah, it is
And then
literally
kept
like
under the cover.
perfect. Yeah. It's in perfect condition. And I'm about to bring it to the Mid-Atlantic and just ruin it.
Cool. You might want to check if that's a frame that's going to rust out on you before you drive it over there.
So yeah, I've checked the frame. Obviously, it looks great. And then the last. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Wait to get it replaced until it rusts in the Midwest.
Yeah, I've thought about that, but I don't know what the expiration is on this recall. From what I've seen, so I've seen some mixed stuff. I've seen some stuff that the recall expired, but then I also see people active in the forums stating recently that they went and got the recall addressed.
But it depends on if the dealership's willing to go argue with Toyota, then they will generally do it. But if the dealership's like, no, Toyota will never do that, then you're out of luck. You just go try a different dealership. So the reason I've heard of this is because from 06 to 09, the V6 they were putting in the Camry, they used it in a bunch of stuff, but particularly in the Camry, they went to a thinner piston ring. And that was just for a very slight increase in efficiency because the thicker piston rings cause more friction, whatever. They were just looking to get an extra MPG, right? Well, they, according to Toyota's estimation, these engines started to prematurely burn oil. And if your engine was affected and you purchased a Camry or any other car with this specific V6 in it, then they would take your engine and rebuild it or replace it for free. And you want to hazard a guess what number was too low, was premature in their estimation for burning oil?
150,000 miles, 100,000 miles.
If it started burning oil before 300,000 miles, you could go get yourself a new Toyota V6.
Very Japanese. So this is actually something I've thought about, and I don't think it's addressed enough, and this is on my slides, on Toyota parts reproduction. So basically a new Toyota since, I think the earliest I found was like 1994. You can go on the Toyota website, right? So you can go on toyotapartsfinder.com, I think. I don't know if that's an actual sanctioned website, but you can order remanufactured parts from Toyota new for your vehicles. So when I did the timing belt, oil filter, oil pump, water pump, all that stuff on my RAV4, I went on the Toyota website to order parts with the part number, and I ordered new parts for that 97 vehicle from Toyota directly. And so I think that's part of why Toyotas stay on the road for so long, is because they have really, really, really good lifetime support for their vehicles. And it's like about 15 to 20% more expensive than like the import direct stuff you can find on like Rock Auto or whatever. But even Toyota has a special coolant that they use. They talk about using the red coolant, and that's Toyota's coolant, specific for their motors. It's supposed to be better coolant for whatever reason. But yeah, so my 3S FE motor that was in my RAV4, I was able to purchase brand new parts in the plastic for that motor, even though it was a motor that was originally shipped in 1994. And I could order brand new parts for it. And same thing for this. So I can get reproduced parts. So
just for context, anybody who doesn't understand how big of a deal that is, I have a 2015 Kia Sedona, and I cannot find a single part for it. Yep. Unless I'm ordering it from directly from Korea. I can't get like a windshield washer fluid reservoir. Mine is cracked. Yeah. And I have not been able to find one. I've owned that car for almost 3 years. And it's been cracked since I bought it.
Toyotas are like, I mean, it's hard to, like, I'm not someone that has a lot of like brand loyalty, but I would say I'm probably almost as brand loyal to Toyotas as you guys probably are to like Chrysler products. You know what I mean? Like, I love Toyotas. I just love Japanese.
I wonder why.
Yeah, Japanese
all
women.
All love for Japanese.
My wife. My cars, yeah.
Don't take anything from Japan.
But yeah.
Babies.
Yeah, but anyway, stoked about the car. I know that's a hot take, but it is a dark horse because you can find some of these around 150,000 miles for like $6,500. So
V8.
V8, locking diff,
A lot of longevity left.
4x4, got a minimum of 150,000 miles left in it. Yeah.
That's nice.
That's good. Here we go. I wonder whose this is.
I talked enough about this already, so I'm just going to keep it brief.
Are you?
My hot take is the Mazda MX-5 Miata is the greatest sports car ever made.
Okay. Elaborate.
Is that a hot take?
So hot.
I think most of the car community would probably agree with you. So you may, if this is a hot take, you may want to, I don't know, point it at maybe people not from the car community? Like, what's so special about the Miata?
I even thought of a slogan that I'm sure they've probably used in the past. I didn't look it up. But the Mazda Miata delivers smiles for miles.
Pretty positive
That's got to be used already, I'm sure. But I actually wrote out a definition that is passed around online and then put a cross through. This is the definition of a sports car that I found. A sports car is a car designed with an emphasis on performance, such as handling, acceleration, top speed, and horsepower. No. Sports cars are supposed to be fun. Full stop. All of those things are in service of fun. If you have a car that is too fast to use on the road, that you have so much extra horsepower that you can't even go near the throttle without getting pulled over, that's not fun. So many cars, almost all of them are too much to use almost all of the time. Okay? And even more now with horsepower, the horsepower wars that we're in right now. This has several dedicated racing series in the US, several in England and in Australia, where you can just drive up with your Miata, slap some stickers on it, put on a helmet, and go race in a real racing series. You can really go race these cars. So if it's not supposed, it's supposed to be performant. Well, it sure is, especially if you're out there with 30 of your buddies racing around a track, right? It's more fun than any other model specific community because there's so many, you can name anything and more than one person has done it. You can buy an old Miata and just say like, hey, I'm thinking of doing a V8 swap.
LS swap.
Yeah, I want to do a V8 swap. Oh, you know what? I want an all-wheel drive Miata. No, I want an off-road Miata. You're going to find dozens or hundreds of people that have done the same thing before you. And you can, and this goes into modifying. It's more fun to modify. There's tons of companies that all they do is sell modification parts for Miatas. They don't do anything at Flying Miata. They used to sell a kit off the shelf, and they might still have some left to LS swap your Miata. A bolt-in kit to put a V8. Per oil change, per maintenance interval, more fun in that amount of time between oil changes. It's more fun in that amount of time between gallons of gas. You could drive this thing like an absolute hooligan and get 32 to the gallon. It's more fun for every mile you're behind the wheel because you actually get to use the car on an open road. I went and test drove it, and Jackson was with me, our brother, and he's like, you need to slow down. What are you doing? I was doing 34 miles an hour. He was like, you're driving like a madman. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. I'm not even speeding. I haven't gotten to the speed limit yet. And we were just like hooting and hollering, top down, having a blast.
Can you go back to the original hot take slide? I'm going to tell you why this is all completely wrong. Okay. So, greatest sports car. Greatest means like objectively better, right? There's nothing objective on that slide. So, for example, the Porsche 911 is a better sports car than the Mazda Miata.
Oh, I addressed this already.
Wait. Let me finish. I think what you're really saying, because having a sports car is not about modifying it for everybody. Having a sports car is about having sports car capabilities. I think what you're really saying is that the Mazda Miata is maybe the greatest enthusiast car ever made. It's not a better sports car. There are lots of better sports cars. And then here's the other one. This is really important. The Mazda Miata probably isn't the best, but it is the most accessible. That's why you have all those leaks. That's why you have all that aftermarket support. That's why you have all those Facebook groups and that community of people around Mazdas because
anyone can afford it.
The affordability is what makes it better than the 911.
Is it better or is it more accessible? I think
it is. The accessibility makes it better, and the fact that it's not as fast makes it better.
I mean, that's a hot take.
There's a saying that it's more fun to drive a slow car fast than to drive a fast car slow.
Sure, but it's most fun to drive a fast car fast.
Yeah, but do that on the way to the grocery store. Do that every day on the
You've ridden in a 911, right? Would you rather be in a 911 or a Miata?
I mean, it's fun, but if I commuted in it, I would end up in jail.
I know.
And go get your groceries. The 911's fine for that, but do you really want to be spending
I wouldn't park a 911 in
At the grocery store.
Walmart parking
You wouldn't
lot.
want to go anywhere with it. You wouldn't want to get it scratched. You wouldn't want to get it dinged.
It doesn't have to be a
You can.
911.
It also has to be a new Miata. You can get a Miata from '98 for like $5,000 in decent shape,
Yeah.
and you can go have an absolute blast and sell it for a profit in like 3 years.
My point is, what makes the Miata seem great is that it's really accessible. I don't think it's actually better.
I mean, I think you guys are arguing over what greatest means. In your eyes, greatest is the
Affordable,
sensation
usable.
of fun in a vehicle.
Fun per dollar, fun per mile, fun per person.
And I think you're thinking more performance, like a sports car is supposed to be performant. And there is no number on a spec sheet where the Miata is going to have an advantage over a 911.
Not at all. Performance in the service of what?
Just objectively.
No, performance in the service. Why would I buy it for the performance? I'm not buying it because the numbers say something. I'm buying it because the performance makes me feel a way. It makes me feel like I'm having fun. And I can have more fun for way less money and do. I have a blank canvas to do whatever I want.
But
with.
what if money's no option? Would you buy a Miata?
Well, and
I
you
mean,
don't
you would buy a
have
Miata. But
Small children that you care about and all sorts of, you're wealthy and can drive on a track and it doesn't matter.
If I on money no object, I would probably still daily drive a Miata.
Are you taking a Miata or a 911 on a track day? That's the real question.
Probably. What I would do is I would get good enough in a Miata to justify spending any amount of time in the 911.
Sure, but would you take a Miata or?
If I was like a professional driver, maybe I would take the 911. Anything other than I spend 20 hours a week behind the wheel as a driver, as a like on a track. Anything other than that, I'm taking the Miata. Unless I make my living being a professional driver, I'm not good enough to even attempt getting close to the 911's performance limit.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. You can do it. I believe in you.
Right? And at that point, I have now wasted $260,000 on some GT3 RS or whatever.
Yeah, but have you considered paint to sample?
Have you considered Soul Red Crystal? God's gift to paint.
All right. What's Mason's?
all right. The moment
Settle
you've
in,
all
buddy.
been waiting for.
Settle it.
If you need to go to the bathroom, now's the time. My hot take. None of you dummies.
Idiots.
Nobody understood my point about the Hummer EV's efficiency. Okay? Now you could argue if 1.2 million people watch what I said and nobody understood, I'd argue my point wasn't articulated very well. So that could partially be on me. It could also be you can only fit so much into a 60-second clip.
But that video has like 15,000 likes.
The comments make it seem harsher.
25,000 or more likes at this point.
Yeah.
And it's got less than 3,000 dislikes.
Here's the key. Here's what I figured out. Cool, real quick tangent. What we did in that clip, and I pointed this out to Kira. I can scroll through the comments and I'll see someone that's like, "How much is Shell paying you, you oil shill?" Like, first of all, Shell. I don't know what kind of like.
This is a rinky-dink operation if Shell's paying us.
Exactly. And then literally the next comment is like, another one of those EV nut jobs. Like in the same video, the comments one after another.
Yes.
Yeah, people took their own thing into it, and they were like, "He's."
And I thought I was like an affront to their.
Everyone was so on edge to think you were going to disagree with them.
I think 80% of EV bros thought you were disagreeing with them, and 20% thought, "Oh yeah, look, see this guy's point. He's a genius." And then it was the same ratio for ICE people as well.
They got mad at me, went to the comment section, and then fought each other in the comments, which shot engagement through the roof.
And we ended up over 1 million views on a video that, let's be honest, was not very concise or well put together in the first place.
Like we cut it. We cut it to try to fit it into a short, but you're just inevitably going to be leaving out context. Like
You
it just
have to.
and people didn't bother going to the full video. Like the full length podcast saw maybe an extra 100 views, maybe. Like it didn't see anything significant from that. So anyway, we'll see how well this may have to be like 10 shorts. We'll see. I want to clarify. My point about the Hummer EV's efficiency is that my broader point was that the Hummer EV is a true Hummer, and one of the ways I measure that, in my opinion, is how inefficient it is. It is so inefficient that in a lot of ways it's more comparable to what you'd spend driving a gas-powered car than other EVs, including other electric trucks.
You know what you should use as an example? An average gas-powered car, say like a Honda Civic.
Maybe a Honda Civic.
People want to take the first opportunity to try to dunk on somebody, and like they wanted to interpret it that you were thinking that people were cross-shopping these two vehicles, and that's not the point. Obviously, nobody's cross-shopping a Hummer.
Or which one? Which
Yes.
one?
That's absolutely correct. So I'm going to show some figures. I went back to the drawing board. I re-crunched the numbers, and some people had some good observations, some good things to also consider, some more context to provide. Some people said things that made literally no sense, but I still am going to provide what you're asking for in this video. So, even though I don't think it makes any sense at all, but here it goes. So we're going to establish a couple of assumptions first. Okay, real quick. We're assuming for the EV, perfect climate conditions, optimal tire pressure, level road, single occupant, no towing, no payload, no elevation change. We're accounting for an 11.5% charging loss, which people said, technically, you're paying for power, but not all that power is getting into the vehicle. 11.5, that's not negligible. That's actually a decent amount. But that is accounted for in the EPA's figures. We're not accounting for any like public, free, or fast charging that's going to cause fluctuations in how much, or off-peak charging. When I show a comparison to a vehicle that uses diesel, regular, or premium gas, I calculated it based on the average for those respective fuel types. For the vehicle options, I selected the most efficient trim tire and other options selected. We're not talking about charge time. Everyone's talking about, oh yeah, well, how long does it take to charge the EV? I don't understand how that adds to the cost. Like, yes, it's inconvenient.
They just want to choose the obvious thing to dunk on EVs.
That's worth noting. Sure. Okay, cool. We've noted it. We're ignoring regular maintenance costs, obviously oil changes and everything. We're ignoring you're going to have to replace the battery at some point. That's also true. Acknowledged. We're ignoring the environmental impact of the electric vehicle. The initial MSRP, obviously the Hummer is significantly more expensive. Cool. Acknowledged.
I saw a comment that said, wow, choose a car that's 5 times as expensive. How many Civics can you tow with a Hummer? Where was your point in this car? Like, what are you talking about?
What stands out to me with this slide is all these things are the things that you felt like you needed to address. But the genesis of a lot of these come from different sides. Like, ignoring environmental impact means that there was somebody saying, well, what about the environmental impact of EVs? Those things are bad. And then if you go to the other one where it says ignoring off-peak hours at home charging, there's an EV guy saying, well, what about I work at night and I work from home 4 nights a week and I actually never drive my Hummer, so it doesn't cost me anything and I don't even own one.
So only this snippet will be included in the short. If you want to see the assumptions we're making here, freeze the video now. I'm only putting this up for a second. So here you go. I've acknowledged. Cool. Moving on. And these are all the vehicles that we're going to be looking at and their respective...
Do you happen to have all of your sources lined up?
Oh, look.
These are all the sources I'm using. Okay? So if you don't like with their figures, you can provide me with your own, I guess.
The first comment is going to be like, he shook.
The biggest criticism was, why not compare the Hummer to other electric trucks? Okay. That wasn't really relevant to what we're talking about. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Relevant.
But sure, let's take a look. That's the Rivian, the Cybertruck, the Ford Lightning, the most popular electric trucks out there. Then you see the Hummer, and then below are the ICE counterparts these are the most efficient full-size trucks down
to
at
be
the bottom.
clear,
You spend $2 every
Higher is
mile you drive a TRX.
I added a TRX down there at the bottom in context. Yes.
so
No, every time you spend $1, you go to my kid's school. Like every dollar.
A dollar gets you 2 miles. So higher is better in this. A dollar gets you whatever that number is across the top.
yes.
So if you put $1 of whatever the fuel type is
Electricity, diesel, premium, whatever.
in a Rivian, you can expect to go almost 16 miles on $1.
So in a TRX, if you went to Starbucks and came back, it might cost you
$5
more in fuel than it would
Starbucks.
cost you for the drink.
I mean, what are you getting at Starbucks though? Because
So you can see the Hummer is still more cost efficient than those, but it is still a fair bit lower than the rest of them. right? So maybe this zoom out a little bit provides a little bit of context. The Hummer EV is more efficient than the gas counterparts, but it is way down from the other ones.
Yeah, let's note how expensive everything is in California, because your dollar goes half as far in California on basically all of the electric stuff.
The upper line is the national average for either electricity, regular gas, diesel gas, or premium gas. Part of the reason why that TRX is so expensive is because you have to fill it with premium gas. That's accounted for here. So it's not, if you put in regular gas, you would actually go a little bit further, but you're not supposed to put regular gas in.
Right, it just needs higher octane fuel.
Yeah, it's to prevent knock.
Exactly. So the little striped line underneath, so the top line is the national average of the respective fuel type. The striped line is what you can expect to pay in California. Another common thing I saw in the comments is people said, "Oh, where are you getting that kind of cost?" Here in Sacramento, it's $46.
Yeah, here in
Manhattan, 46 cents.
I paid way more than that.
Yeah.
So wait, where are you getting your national average from? I'm from this one city.
Right. So California isn't even the worst. Like Hawaii is the worst as far as electricity costs and gas costs go. But
Don't I know it?
yeah, California, there's a lot of people there, and it's pretty bad. So you can see that stripe line. It's basically knocked in half if you drive an electric vehicle.
Yeah, you get half the distance for your dollar in
Do
California.
you think that this is one of the motivating factors for the kind of flight from California, that some people are like, man, because a lot of people in California do drive EVs, but if they moved to like Phoenix, they'd be like, man, I could.
And we're still above national average, but we're still way cheaper.
It would cost me half as much to charge my car.
Well, yeah, or I would get twice as far on the same amount of money. You know,
I can't. You put $2 or you put $1 in your Ram.
You can go 2 miles. That's the big takeaway of this for me.
My gosh! Wait, hold on. Is by this metric, the best Hummer is the Ram TRX.
Yes.
The least efficient thing.
but notice how much. Hold on. Notice how little the Ram efficiency goes down in California compared to the national average. That's not very much. Look at that Rivian up there. Look how much it goes down. It chops in half. So let's put the Hummer against some of the efficient ICE vehicles, okay? This is where my comparison came in. Because if you look, a Hummer EV compared to these vehicles here is actually a lot closer than the other electric trucks.
If you were to pick out a car to go, how far do you go on $1?
These are a lot closer.
You would say these cars are a decent comparison. Oh, look, a Honda Civic's on there.
Exactly. I'm not saying you are cross-shopping a Hummer EV with a Mitsubishi Mirage.
I wonder if your CUDA, in period, would do better on this chart than these cars. Because it's very inefficient fuel-wise.
Oh, but how much gas
was
costs?
$0.17 a gallon.
It would probably be the top of the chart. No, probably not. But this is kind of the focus of my point from last podcast video, is that these are the cars that are most similar to the Hummer as far as what you're paying per mile to move the vehicle down the road. Again, we're not talking about how bad the battery is to the environment, how long it takes to charge,
Per dollar.
what color your cat is. Those are all irrelevant variables.
You're saying these are the most similar because most people shopping for a Hummer also...
No, shut up. No. I'm trying to disambiguate here. You're not helping.
Civic Hummer.
Okay, and another note here. These are all normal gas-powered vehicles. These are not hybrids. There's no electrification in these whatsoever. So
One thing I think of is the $7,500 tax credit that you get for EVs. Does the new Ram qualify?
Probably.
The Ram Charger?
because the engine doesn't actually drive the wheels.
I would guess that it
But
qualifies
it still
because
emits emissions.
But this is what we were wondering before, is I wonder, does the onboard generator have to follow emissions for passenger vehicles, or does it follow emissions regulations for generators? Because if it follows emissions regulations for generators, we might get a Hellcat in there and turn it into a generator, and we're gonna be driving like a bat out of hell.
Another thing people talked about is, why don't you compare it to old Hummers? Again, it does not further clarify the point, but here you go. Okay, Hummer EV is cheaper to drive than the older Hummers.
Woo.
Okay.
And in period, these Hummers were significantly less efficient than other vehicles.
And that embodied what it meant to be a Hummer. It meant you didn't care.
Yeah,
You
it
didn't
was the essence of American excess.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it is. The Hummer EV is the modern interpretation of that.
Do you know what it is? It's that meme of the guy with a bronze medal, like with the champagne.
Yeah.
That's what the Hummer is.
So the only notable thing on this slide is driving a Hummer H1 with diesel. The numbers there match exactly the TRX. You're driving a TRX around, you are paying as much as if you're driving one of those old school H1 Hummers around.
My gosh.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Last one. Hummer EV versus a Honda Civic. How does Hummer EV compare to a Honda Civic, and why does it matter?
This one's really interesting.
My point was the Hummer EV is closer to the operational cost of a gas car than it is to other EV trucks. Look at the bottom of the graph. You can't objectively tell me that Hummer EV bar is closer to those electric trucks than it is closer to the Civic. It is not. It is closer to the Civic. That is the entire encapsulation of my point, is that the Hummer costs the same to drive as a gas car. Now, if you have no experience with electric cars, you've never owned one, you don't realize how incredibly cheap they are to drive. You know this. Do you have to budget for what kind of money you have to put into driving your Tesla?
We calculated it out. At the most, it's about $12 to charge it to go 200 miles. At the least, it's like $650.
It's not even worth the time to sit down and figure it out because it's so little. And if you don't drive an electric car or you're not familiar with it, you don't realize how little of an impact charging your electric car has. The Hummer's not like that. The Hummer you have to budget to drive like you would a Civic. Now, if you can afford a Hummer, the obvious assumption is you could afford to charge it, okay? The only point I was saying is that it is so inefficient for an electric vehicle, it's actually more comparable to a gas vehicle in terms of what you spend to drive it.
I think the real synthesis of your point is this. So somebody might say, well, for the Hummer EV, I can make it more efficient. I could have solar panels on my roof. I could charge it at off-peak hours. The person who owns that vehicle doesn't care at all, and that's the point.
You know what it is? The Hummer EV is closer to a Honda Civic in the same way the original Hummer was much closer to a horse.
This here kind of illustrates the point. The Hummer EV is closer to a Civic than it is to those other electric trucks in terms of what it costs to actually move it down the road.
I don't know, that graph is yellow, and all the ones above it are also yellow. So in that way,
That's true.
it's more similar.
But the interesting part here is the part in California.
Yeah. So this one here, that Hummer EV, technically if you drive it in California, it is significantly less efficient than all those gas-powered vehicles, especially if you drive those gas-powered vehicles in California as well. You could see that delta, that Hummer EV is less efficient per dollar put into it than those gas-powered cars. Like look at this California line.
Gas costs so much more in California that it's a national headline every time it goes up. They're like, oh my gosh, in California it costs that much. But electricity has an even bigger delta over the national average, to the point
Which is like so horrifyingly hilarious that California, electricity there is so expensive that it is cost prohibitive to drive an electric vehicle compared to just a moderately efficient gas vehicle.
If you're driving a Hummer.
Yeah, I mean, even still, even if you had like the Rivian up here, it's not the kind of difference you get in the rest of the country.
Go back two slides. Go back 2 slides and look at the California numbers and look at the gas numbers nationally. Look at the California EV versus gas numbers nationally.
Well, look at the Ford Lightning EV and the F-150.
Nationally gas.
Nationally, and then now look at the California line. They're not that big of a difference. At least the delta is significantly smaller.
Yeah, I think that people that are pro EV are going to say that you're missing the forest for the trees here, though, because EVs, part of it is not, and you can make the argument that EVs aren't actually necessarily better for the environment. I don't really know,